Hi, my name is John Scarley. This is number 3 in a series of videos about the world's most evil woman, according to 220 real human beings that I was privileged to meet. But anyway, for 29 years I wasn't rude, because my attitude after late 60s meeting a woman who, working with her, and regularly she used to say, "Oh, my husband says I've got a head like a sieve." I've been very undecided which way to go on Series 3 or even number 4, etc., because I'm not very good at this. My expertise was in restoration of buildings, and again, I'll get into that later on. I'm very tempted to say that Evil's birthday, the habitual liar, the world's biggest backstabber, habitual liar, 30 years of, and then 3 years of the divorce papers. Wait till you get onto those. But she was born on the 5th of the 12th, and I, for many years in the back of my mind, thought that's an evil date. And that was when she taught me how to gamble, when we went to the hotel for the first time, and she turns around and says, "Oh, play Keno." And I said, "Well, what's that?" And she goes into explanation, and then, okay, well, let's give it a go. And when I started filling out the numbers, she said, "Oh, make sure you put 5. And I said, "Why?" She said, "It comes out all the time." And then she says, "Oh, and put 12 as well." "Why?" "Oh, that comes out nearly as often as 5. But 5 comes out all the time." And then she says, "Do you have a favourite number?" "No, I have got no favourite number. You ought to know that. We've talked about it." Anyway, Now, the 5 and 12, as far as I'm concerned, the one man I would have really loved to have met, and there was somebody back probably about 10 years ago had said at my volunteer club, he was from Africa and he was in town and he was planning on coming back, and he was saying that they were looking at making arrangements for Mandela to come to Australia, and he would have come to our club, and that didn't happen, of course, but gee, I would have loved to have met him. And he had some sort of influence on me as a kid, and he died South African time on the 5th of the 12th. So now I know it's a damn evil date. But anyway, the next 4, I've ended up deciding I'm going to go with the audios of the part of them. Anyway, not the entire audio of the meeting at the psychologist, which was arranged by my ex, and et cetera, and in there you'll notice that I say you've got to be completely honest, and et cetera, and even she lied yesterday at the hospital, and that's why I didn't leave with her at the hospital. I stayed in for an extra day because of her lies, and then the head nurse got really angry because I was already cleared on a Sunday by the head psychiatrist or psychologist, whoever came down on that Sunday, and he came down on the Sunday only at the insistence of the nurse, because he was so angry. And I know by working at the Royal Adelaide Hospital, many Saturdays and Sundays they don't work, the heads people don't work, but this guy did come in, and after we had a 45-minute hour chat, he signs the papers. He said, "Well, I would never have detained you here. You can go home." And but part of the procedure was that the evil ex had to come in, and we had to have a talk, because I was still living at home. We were separated, but I was living in there at that stage in the house that I designed and built and bloody paid for through my hard work. But anyway, I ended up that because she lied, I actually walked out once, and again the head nurse got angry and called me back and said, "No, you don't belong in here, keep talking." And then when she lied the second time, I just got up and walked out, and then the head nurse spoke to the ex, and she didn't realise that what she lied about, she tried to imply that I was angry and that I almost hit her a few times, and etc. And she didn't realise that it was the same nurse that the previous day she said, "No, John's never raised a hand, he's never done anything." But in front of me, she just tried to, pretend and twist and manipulate And that's how I got into the hospital in the first place, by her manipulation of words. When I turned around and said, I've known your mother hasn't had a heart for over 25 years, but I've known probably for 10, 15 years that you haven't had a heart, but I've tried to make this marriage work by coming back not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, because you keep begging to come back. And I said, but enough is enough. I've kept my promise to the kids, and now the marriage is over and done with. Just get it over and done with ASAP. And she turned around, and when I said didn't have a heart, and I even said, because her mother used to stand in the corner of my kitchen whenever I was home, she was obviously there a lot more than I was. She used to stand in the corner of the kitchen by the dishwasher, spewing toxic poison, negativity, and only against 4 or 5 family members, because she knew no one else. She had no friends whatsoever. But anyway, end up that, she manipulated the words, and she told people from the mental health 2 things. One, she said that I used the words, I'm going to rip her mother's heart out. Well, if she hasn't got one, how can I rip her mother's heart out? Secondly, she told him that I was on drugs. So you can see part of the thing, the written report by Dougie, the arsehole, the incompetent, the empire builder who came home and lied 50 to 100 times, saying, just come down and do a blood test. But he wouldn't ring up the Red Cross. He would have found out that I had a booking in 6 days' time for my 124th blood donation. But no, there's got to be an empire building to justify his highly paid job. But anyway, you end up that you'll see the dates on there. You'll see the dates of the report I got from the Red Cross, etc. And they do exactly as I say. I told the truth.
Questions. Now, this particular meeting today has been arranged by Lena. Someone told me that we can do like some different sessions this weekend. Dr. Referral. Yes. So that is the Also, I must state, I woke up somewhere between 2 and 4 this morning. I had a crook neck, and I haven't been able to go back to sleep since because of the crook neck. And I spent the last, I don't know what that's the records you've got. I spent the last 5 days in high dependency in the mental institution at Psych, all because of lies and misrepresentation, etc., etc. Things have got totally out of hand. No offence to you, unless somebody's going to turn around, and even there, I think now it's too late. Unless somebody can really be serious and totally honest in terms of your position and say what, when I tell you things which are true, and that's why I want a videotape. And not only I want to be put under hypnosis, I'm also looking for a lie detector test person that can take a lot of because if the truth is the truth is the truth, etc.
Let me repeat that.
First, and I'll have the video in the background so they can control I resent the centre thing. I know they have it. From your point of view, you're saying that, but I resent that, and I'm going to have to say. That's all I wanted. Yes. Now I know that she is a habitual liar and twists things around, right? The words right now, she dropped out of a very important sentence. That's what I said years ago. And she needs that, not to go to her negative parent, mother, who's never done anything, never exposed themselves to outside the little world. And I got very disappointed in her when we were separating. She had prejudice against my son.
Yeah, against Vicky because she lived in the other side of the railway line was the first reason. And then she thought it was the housing trust. How bloody sick.
Because I want to get a divorce. And she last week on Tuesday came back from the mediation. I went Monday and I laid it out on the line and I said, I just want 50%, not 1 cent more. So her version of sharing, you have got time. I'm happy to tell you, and I will be going backwards and forwards because I know you're lack on time. Her version of sharing is I do all the work and she keeps everything. And it's been proven when her mother come over, also when her mother come over for 9 months, I said to her, because her mother had already been there about 5,000 days over the previous years. I said, why can't your mother go to your sister? We have to do our sharing.
And I was doing 99.9% and she still said, we have to do our share. Yeah, I had to bloody do everything. They did nothing.
The rest of the family, her mother, her father died, and I honestly believe, I didn't meet him, but I know things, and I honestly believe he was a fantastic job. He was an angel as far as what I believe her father was. Okay? Yes.
And I say that because I now know he put up with the devil and he died in the marriage, as other people have said, didn't know how to get out of it, and he died in the marriage and he lived with the devil. And but I lived with 2 devils. It's even worse, and I bloody worked 5 times harder than an old man. He must have been a good guy, but he did the best he could with what he had. and probably didn't have the negativity from her and everything else that I got, but I was already positive before I bloody got married.
Yes, yes, certainly.
Now, when somebody tells me I don't trust you,
Yes.
now there could be a number of
Well, Laura, what can I say? I'm certainly not going to argue with evil in terms of her not having a brain, because even if I didn't say anything, I guess 2001, after her mother embezzled Centrelink for 5 years. Mind you, this is a person that has never worked one day in her life, and therefore has never paid $1 or even 1 cent in terms of tax on any work that she's done, and yet she goes and embezzles Centrelink out of probably, I'm guessing, around $15,000-17,000, but her bank book would verify, because obviously Centrelink's not going to give you that information. But if you get a bank book around 2001, you will find in a bank statements, whatever, you will find there's a whole stack of money has to be returned. And whether she paid it back in one lump sum or over a year, I got no idea. But you will find that there was a reversal of money. And, you want to prove me wrong, get her bank statements and you will find I'm absolutely 100%. But don't worry about it, because she's not going to show you for that reason. She will not show you, because she did embezzle, full stop, end of story, no ifs or buts. But she'll lie to you, she'll deny, because that's what they're experts at is total denial.